Have 3 members for quorum. Item 1C, regular board meeting agenda, motion to consider.
I'll move.
Ken?
I'll second.
Brianna? Dr. Zahakian?
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. We have one modification to the agenda. Item 11G, G as in Gary. Name on the contract corrected to reflect the accurate name, Butterfly Effects Pediatric Physical Therapist. That's again 11G.
Can you restate the correction again?
The correction on the name on the contract was corrected to reflect the correct name. It's Butterfly Effects Pediatric Physical Therapist.
Okay.
Item 11G.
Right. Board member discussion? Hearing none, call question.
Fallscraft, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 3-0-1 absent. Item 2A, oath of office, Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you. I have the honor and privilege of swearing in our returning board members as well as our new board members. So I would respectfully request if we could meet down here so that we could go ahead and do the oath of office, please. Please raise your right hand. State your name.
Brianna Texoni.
Ken Fallscraft.
Lester Mascot. Tom Costa.
Thank you. Do solemnly swear that I will support and defend the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California against all enemies, foreign and domestic. That I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of the State of California. That I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion. And I will well and faithfully discharge the duties upon which I am about to enter. You can see, I do.
I do.
I will.
Or I will.
I will.
Thank you. Congratulations.
If the voters on that.
Yeah.
I got pictures. And can you send me yours? Yeah, because I was recording. Oh, yeah, of course. I could send.
Item 3A, public participation, Dr. Zahakian.
Thank you, Mr. Jorgensen. We don't have any public comments at this time.
Okay, thank you. Item 4A, closed session. Motion to consider.
I'll move.
Second.
Who seconded that?
Lester.
Lester? Okay. Lester. Board member discussion? Hearing none, call the question on adjourn to closed session.
Lester Mascot. Aye. Tom Costa. Aye.
Fallscraft, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Motion carries 5-0. We're going to adjourn to closed session at 6:36. Be back probably in about an hour. Thank you. Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to return from closed session. We'll reconvene from closed session at 7:55 p.m. Item 5A, report of action taken in closed session. The board may consider and act on any of the following items in closed session. Any action taken in closed session will be reported in open session as required by law. Closed session may be called at any time during a formal meeting by a motion of the Board of Education for the purpose of discussing personnel problem, a pupil problem, a purchase, consultation on a legal problem with an attorney, and with employee organizations in regard to salaries and fringe benefits. All formal action involving such matters may be made in must be made in open session. It's my duty to respond to that. The action taken tonight in the closed session was the board agreed to the recommendation to refer an employee matter to the California Commission on Teacher Credentialing. The vote was 4-1. The flag salute, 6A, Brianna, could you lead us in the flag salute, please? Start this off, and this is the election of a board president. Have a motion to consider.
I'll move.
Ken?
I'll second.
And who was that, Lester?
Tom Costin.
Tom, sorry, Tom. Do I have a nomination for the office of president?
I will nominate Brianna Taxoni as the president of the board.
Do I have a second?
I'll second that for discussion.
Who is that?
Tom Costin.
Tom? Board member discussion? We'll start down at the end. Lester?
No comment.
Tom?
My question is Brianna want to be the president of this board?
I do, I accept the nomination, thank you.
Okay.
Ken?
I have nothing.
I have nothing. Call the question. Lester?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Ken?
Abstain.
Brianna?
Do I get a vote?
You bet.
Aye.
And I abstain. So the motion is carried 3-0-2. Madam President, the agenda is yours.
Carry on.
Thank
You want a piece of paper so you can write down?
you. Sure. Motion,
I'll move.
that's
I'll
Ken.
second.
Call for question? Oh, we need a motion.
Yeah, motion is.
It's my first. Can we get any nominations? It's my first mistake as president. I'd like to nominate Ken Falscraft for vice president.
A second.
Lester, seconded by Lester. Any discussion?
Same question. Ken, is this, can you accept?
Yes.
I don't have anything. All those in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Ken is the new vice president. It is. We're on board clerk. So, okay. Ken is the new vice president by a vote of 5-0. 7C, election of board clerk. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Ken?
I'll second.
Seconded by Tim. Can I get a nomination?
I'll nominate Lester Mascon.
I'll second. Call for question?
I'd like to have some discussion. I'd like to be able to say at this point that I have known of Lester Mascon in a professional way for probably more than a decade, and that he has serviced some contracts with the city of Beverly Hills where I work. I know his reputation and his look at contracts, and that's not to demean anyone else or take away from anyone else, but I would be comfortable knowing that all contracts and all matter of business and inspection reports are signed by the board clerk. That's my reasoning.
Accept the nomination.
Call for question?
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
It is recommended that Lester serve as board clerk with a vote 5-0.
Can we have a discussion?
Call for discussion?
I would recommend that in the interest of equity, I'm kind of the one that started this where we got away from mono presidency. I'm very happy that the board supported everyone moving down. I personally would like to see that considered. Chad joins us in the audience. He was destined to become the president, and that would have been my nomination. But in the interest of all this, Tim, I would like it very much if you would assume the seat down at the end and move everyone up one step closer to the presidency.
We have that in here. As soon as you finish, there's a place we're going to do a quick recess and then we'll do the shuffle. Yeah, we got it in the agenda.
So you're willing to take the bookend?
Yeah, Emily and I are getting cookies.
That doesn't mean you fall asleep. I still get another year to misbehave.
I don't, honestly, I don't think it matters where we sit. You know, since we select our officers based on recommendations and we vote on them.
Cool, I'll
I
sit
think
there.
we just, wherever we're comfortable.
I'll sit there.
So, you know, if we want to do the rotating thing, that's good, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it's going to look next year.
Wonderful. I'll be sitting here.
Just go ahead and finish the rest of this too.
After 7H in the agenda, there is a call for a recess for us to
Ready?
move. Do you want to move now?
Yeah.
Call for a recess now to move now?
You're doing musical chairs? Emily, what kind of cookie did you bring? Hey, there we go.
Authorize the superintendent to serve as the executive secretary to the governing board for the 2022-2023 term. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
I'll second.
That was moved by Lester, second by Ken. Discussion? Tim?
This is basically a formality. We have one superintendent,
I hope so.
unless there's,
Lester?
Nothing here.
Okay. Call for question?
Tim Jorgensen, aye. Tom Costa, aye.
Lester Mascon, aye.
Falls, aye.
Brianna Texani, aye. It is recommended that the governing board authorize the superintendent to serve as the executive secretary to the board for the 2022-2023 school year with a vote of 5-0. Uh, 7E, designated board member to the Los Angeles County School Trustee Association for the 2022-2023 term. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Was that Tom?
Yes.
Discussion or nomination?
Point of order, I have served in that capacity for the last 2 years. If the board wishes me to do that, I'll continue to do that. If not, I'll be relieved of it.
So I will nominate Ken.
Second. Lester.
Tim?
Discussion?
Send it down. Good. Ken, you just give us a little bit of an idea what this entails?
It's basically, you're going to listen to different topics, like the one last Monday was about health supports for staff and students. There was some EL stuff, there's diversity stuff. It's just kind of, it depends if you want to really get involved and be on the board of directors and that kind of thing. If you're politically motivated to do that, that's a good thing. I'm not.
No more discussion? Call for question?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tom Costello, aye.
Lester Maskell, aye.
Ken Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. It is recommended that Ken Fallsgraf serve as the district representative to the Los Angeles County School Trustees Association for the 2022-23 term with a vote of 5-0. 7F, designate voting delegate to the committee to elect members to the county committee. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Second, Lester.
Can I get a nomination?
I nominate Tim Jorgensen.
Second.
That was Lester.
Yes.
I respectfully decline and like to nominate Mr. Musco, clerk.
So who's the current person before today? The current board member serving this?
I believe it was Callie.
Huh? Was Kelly at the last time? I thought it was the clerk, the board clerk last time. I don't know.
I was the board clerk and it was not me.
It wasn't me.
But I was president.
So we have a nomination for Lester by Tim. Do we have a second?
For this.
Is there a little bit more description of what this entails, time-wise? Do you know what we're nominating ourselves for?
It's a formality as a representative from one board member, as a representative from the trustees of Aadusd to be part of the committee to elect members to the county committee. It's more of a formality to provide trustee input to the county.
Okay, I'll nominate myself.
Second.
That was a Tom. Tom, nominated by Tom, second by Lester. All right, discussion? Hearing none. Call for question?
So we're voting on Tom, right?
Yes,
Yes,
Tom was
Tim Jorgensen,
nominated.
yes.
Tom Costello, yes.
Lester Maskell, aye.
Fallsgraf, yes.
Brianna Texoni, aye. It is recommended that Tom Costin serve as the voting delegate to the committee to elect members to the county committee by a vote of 5-0. 7G, designated board representative to the Antelope Valley School Board Association for the 2022-2023 term.
I'll move.
Ken?
Second, Lester.
Can I get a nomination?
I nominate Tim Jorgensen.
Second.
Tim Jorgensen nominates Mr. Musco because this is where he's local here and this is something that he can help bridge the gap and answer lots of questions with our local school board districts.
So declined by Tim. Tim nominated.
Lester.
We need a second.
We need a second. Does anybody second Tim's nomination of Lester Mascon?
I'll put my name in for this nomination. It looks like Lester's going to decline.
Did you decline?
I did not, I was curious what it all entails.
Okay, so the nomination stands, so call the question.
So, no. I nominated Mr. Musco.
Yes.
I mean, Mr. Constant, sorry. I'm looking through your name over there.
I'm sorry.
Okay, well,
We're also
slow
spread
down.
out.
Slow down, guys.
No, the nomination on the table.
Trust the process.
Now we have
Call the
discussion
question.
for the nomination for Lester, before we move on to nominating
So
anybody
before
else.
we move on, I'd add Lester if he is going to accept or he would.
I don't know what it is.
So can we fill Lester in a little bit more what the responsibilities will be?
Once a month, there is all the local school districts. They have a board representative get together. They have it's called Antelope Valley School Board Association. We're the small one, but we're in their district. So Roseman, they come down, all the Palmdale school districts, Lancaster, Westside, Wilsona District, they get together periodically to talk about CSBA, California School Board Association, legislation that's important to districts and education and so forth. It's just a chance for us to be represented, go there. They have dinner meetings sometimes. Sometimes it's just, they'll have them at Lancaster, they'll host them in Palmdale's, different schools. We hosted here like 3 or 4 years ago, we had it here at our school district under Mr. King, Superintendent King one time. So it's local, so I was thinking that you're working Beverly Hills, that you're local.
We're getting way, way out of control
Anyway,
here.
I was looking at Tom when I nominated you,
sorry.
sorry about that.
Okay,
I decline, Tom.
okay.
Second Tom nomination.
Okay, let's bunch it up. We have decline. So now, would somebody nominate Tom?
I nominate Tom Costin for the SBAN
Does someone
representative.
have a second?
I second.
Good, call the question.
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Yes. Aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye.
Trust the process, it's easy. Congratulations, Tom.
Thank you. And I think
It
this
is
a big
recommended
help.
that Tom Costin serve as the board representative to the AVSBA for the 2022-2023 term by a vote of 5-0. 7H, adopt certification of signatures, resolution 2022-23.05 for the 2022-2023 term. Can I get a motion?
I move. Tim Jorgensen move.
Can I get a
Tom
second?
Costin, sorry.
Discussion? Hearing none, call for question.
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Tom Costin, yes.
Lester Mask, aye.
Fallsgraf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. It is recommended that the board approve resolution 2022-23.05 certification of signatures for the year beginning December 15th, 2022 until the next governing board organizational meeting by a vote of 5-0. Public comments. 8, public comments and recognition reports. Please submit a request to speak to the Board of Trustees card located on the exhibit table for any agendized or non-agendized items to the superintendent prior to the meeting. No more than 3 minutes are allotted to any one speaker and no more than 20 minutes on the same subject. This portion of the agenda is for comments, recognitions, and reports to the board and is not intended to be a question and answer period. If you have questions for the board, please provide the board president with a written copy and an administrator will provide answers at a later date. Do we have any board comments?
We have one, Madam President, for this evening.
This is Chad Wadsworth.
Good evening. How are you guys doing? Everybody looks like they're having a great time already, so I'm excited about that. I just want to say welcome to the appointees. It's great to see that there are at least 3 of you that wanted to come and join the fun. Disappointed that not more people in our town didn't want to get involved so we could actually have an election. But nonetheless, I know the 3 that are appointed are good, solid individuals. I think that we finally have some new faces on our board. I think we have a chance to move beyond where we've been. And if we can somehow find common ground and work together up there, I think the sky's the limits for this district still. I think we're still the best school district in the Antelope Valley in Southern California, in my opinion. And I think it can continue to grow. 3 things we need to really keep in check in our minds is our students come first, our teachers are second, and our staff are third. The opinions and personalities of the board, they're last. Nobody cares. Our superintendents, you guys are down on the bottom too. The only thing that matters in this district is the kids, the teachers, and the staff, because if we don't have those three, we have no district. So please keep that in mind when we're implementing things, ideas are coming out. Let's move forward and get out of the rut of where we've been. I would like to ask, and I've asked in the past, can we please have a town hall? Can parents and community come in and ask the board's questions at some point? It would be great. There's nothing to hide from, right? So we should be able to sit up here like adults, and people should be able to voice their concerns to our district, and the 5 of you should want to hear those opinions. So, lastly, I'll just touch on a 5th grade teacher. Hopefully we're doing something with that. I mean, what are we going on, like month 3 of not having one? 5? I don't know, it's been forever. Bus drivers, every day I get a phone call saying, oh, the buses are not going to be running, or they're going to be late, or they're going to be doubled up, or whatever. I mean, come on, folks.
Yeah.
9 to 5 doesn't cut it right now. Put in more effort, put in more time, and start figuring out some resolutions to these problems. I understand there's a shortage. Well, we have to dig deeper, we have to work harder and find it. That's all I'll say. Welcome, Lester and Tom Costin. Congratulations, Brianna, on moving up. God help you too, and you. Have a good night. Oh, and Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.
Thank you, Chad.
See you guys.
8B Golden Spotlight.
Ms. Saxoni, we'll resume the Golden Spotlight recognitions when we return back in January. Thank you.
All right, 9A Add a Representative.
Good evening, Sheldon Sparks, Add a Representative. Thanks for having me here tonight. Congratulations, you two, for signing up for this. Hope it is everything that you anticipated. Congratulations. Quite an honor. There's not a more capable person who can do the job, so we have full faith in you. Well done. I'd like to give a couple shout outs tonight. This year has been a crazy year. Mr. Wadsworth said it well, we're lacking staff. It creates a lot of extra duties and pressures on ADA members, and ADA members have stepped up and done a fantastic job. The two over at High Desert, Mrs. Alford and Mr. Rowland, two stalwarts of the community, of the district, they just stepped up and mentored those temporary substitutes as long-term subs, and they got a new lady over there as well. And those two have just stepped up and been the glue that's kept that campus together. And it's really difficult to do this job, especially when you're shorthanded, and to see the character and the leadership of those two individuals. We're lucky to have them in our district, and so I just wanted to give Mr. Rowland and Mrs. Alford a shout out. Down at Meadowlark, again, we're short-staffed and class sizes are big, and appreciate that the district was willing to negotiate some sort of monetary resolution to that. That's not a long-term solution. Studies after studies show that smaller class sizes are more effective. Larger class sizes, you just don't get as much teaching done. You don't get that individual attention. We should not be looking to pay extra money for these extra class sizes. We need to hire more teachers. And I know you guys are trying. There's rumors going around that there's a new hiring that I'm really excited about. We're desperate for it, and so I just wanted to say thank you to the district, and thank you for the DO for doing your best. I know this has not been easy. I know we've had many conversations about this. And I appreciate you hearing Aad's perspective on that, so just wanted to say thank you for that. Security over at the high school, well done. Okay, well done. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Totally changed the culture. Totally made learning the priority. Too much distraction, too much things going on over there, and taking those steps that you guys did. Adam tips our hat to you guys. Thank you for hearing our concern, and thank you for addressing this concern in the way that you did. Mental health is a huge issue in our district. Our counselors have been doing wonderful surveys, wonderful diagnosis of our students, implementing a wide variety of outreaches, of interventions, and the district has really made mental health a priority, and we see it every single day. And my hat's off to you guys for taking that initiative and identifying it and throwing resources at it. The three counselors, Mrs. Salcedo, Miss Cazado, and Miss Miranda, they're fantastic, and they really have a heart of gold, and they really want to see our students thrive in our learning environment. And that's just another resource that you guys have given our students. So hats off. I can't say enough about Miss Miranda either. It's a young adult intern. It was a fix-all, right? We couldn't hire another counselor, and you reached out. You went through a creative way, and you brought in a good person. I don't know why we don't use that same model when we're hiring teachers. Go find some interns. Go find some young adults who are hungry, who are passionate, who are right out of school. Those are the type of individuals that you want to get ingrained into our culture. And I think it was very successful with the counselors. I think it would be successful with finding more teachers as well. We have negotiations starting. I appreciate the district reaching out and setting some dates down. We have a hard time replacing good teachers. Mrs. Trussell is one of those examples. How do you replace a teacher who's been in the district for 17 years and was such a leader and such a difference maker in the community? You just don't find those type of teachers. And I don't mean to, and I'm not trying to insult, but we just don't find those type of teachers who want to come to this district because we're not competitively paid. Okay, again, it's not about money. It's not. I would do this job for free. But we still have to make a living. We still have to support our bills. We still have to find good people. And what we found sometimes is we hire people who are in desperate need of a job instead of finding people who are desperately want to work here. And one of the ways we can do that is make this place just a little bit more competitive in the salary. Okay, I know we're always going to be a small school. I know we're always going to have budgetary fallouts. We never know what one year to one year what the state is going to give us. But if we are at least more competitive, we can attract better teachers. And Ada wants quality members. And we don't want people who aren't professional. We want people who are just here for the temporary. We want people who want to grow roots in the community, who want to invest in the community. And the way we do that is to offer better salaries. So again, thank you very much. Lots going on. Happy New Year. Happy holiday. Ada members are looking forward to the break. We're really tired, I'm sure just like you guys are. Appreciate everything you guys are doing. I know you guys give up your time just like we do. So my hat's off to you. Have a good night tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Sparks. 9B, CSEA representative.
Good evening, Superintendent Sotkin, Cabinet, and board members. Cesar Ortiz, CSEA President. I want to express my gratitude for the dedication and hard work of our classified staff. Classified staff are the behind-the-scenes employees in the district. Often they don't get the acknowledgement that they deserve. Our classified staff work hard to feed students, keep schools safe and sanitized, maintain our buildings, keep academic records, assist with student instruction, facilitate communication with parents, and transport our students to and from schools. These are examples of the responsibilities and the classified staff work hard to fulfill. I'm asking you to join me in acknowledging their contribution and expressing gratitude for their work. CSEA and our members have a united mission to improve the lives of our members, students, and community. This means we work together with the district to ensure that all members are treated with dignity and respect, and in turn, we have been able to provide services for the students and community. As the union has come together in solidarity of its members, we would like to remind the non-classified staff, administrators, and the board that we want to work together with the district in a meaningful, professional environment and to keep an open dialogue while resolving issues. And as always, we appreciate the Board of Trustees and the superintendent's time, and we want to wish everyone a very happy holiday season. Thank you.
Thank you, Cesar.
Beginning with Meadowlark, Meadowlark Student Council, which is led by Miss O'Brien, has done a great job collecting canned foods and toiletries for families in need. And Miss Meredith Fallgater and Miss Emma Benatar with ASMO did a great job with the winter concert. It was a packed house and an amazing show. At High Desert for Thanksgiving, the staff gathered items and was able to provide Thanksgiving meals for some families in need. For December, the toy drive, which is led by the junior NHS and CSF, was a success. Flag football and the Spirit Squad had their first year of events at High Desert, and it was a big turnout with over 40 boys and girls trying out. They finished third this year and are excited to pick up next year. And lastly, for High Desert, they want to wish all of you, the district, community, families, and school board, a very happy holidays, and thank you for your support. At our high school, we recently had our ribbon cutting ceremony for the Project Lead the Way program. Our sports teams are doing great. The girls and boys basketball have been having their games and doing well, and so have our soccer teams. Both of the teams are undefeated thus far in the season. Our girls are ranked third in our league and our boys first. Tomorrow, both of the teams will be having home games with the boys starting at 3. This week, being our last week of school before break, also meant finals week, and students have been working hard and winter break is highly anticipated. Lastly, I wanted to use my platform to express students' concerns with the bus transportation. I'm sure the district is familiar with some of these issues, and I acknowledge that the district has hired a new bus company and put efforts towards this problem, and also that emergencies concerning bus drivers arise from time to time. But nonetheless, I wanted to voice that this has negatively affected our students. Athletes who rely on the buses to get them to their games become very frustrated and disappointed when the buses don't come, and it puts extra stress on coaches and parents who now have to find an alternative form of transportation. And also families who solely rely on buses to get their students to school are also let down, and students miss days at school because of this. So I just simply wanted to bring attention to this issue from the student standpoint and remain hopeful that we can work together to resolve this. That is all. Thank you.
Thanks, Emily. And Emily always does a wonderful job, so thank you, Emily. Kudos. Tonight I'll be covering 2 initiatives from our strategic plan. One will be student achievement, and the second will be community engagement. Like Emily said so eloquently, we were thrilled to see support of our Project Lead the Way official ribbon cutting at Vasquez last Friday. Thank you to our school board for their ongoing support of student achievement. Our dynamic science teachers and science department from Vasquez went through rigorous professional development over a series of months, which provided training, resources, and support to really engage our students in real-world learning. Project Lead the Way provides pathways in computer science, engineering, and biomedical science. And this really leads to students on hands-on projects, and you'll see a couple of pictures. And thank you, students who gave your Friday afternoon after 3:30 to demonstrate some of the exciting classroom hands-on projects. I'd like to congratulate the Vasquez community of students, staff, and parents. Thank you especially to our Vasquez Science Department, Principal Dr. Chamberlain, And to my right, Assistant Soups, Ms. Kim Shah and Mr. Mirza for leading the charge. Thank you. Community engagement. You'll see a hyperlink on the screen. The superintendent's message link that's found on our, Alex is great, he has our screenshots going. The superintendent's message that is found as a link on our homepage for our district has a new addition. If you go to the superintendent's message, for the sake of heightened communication, all of my reports, as I share out like I am right now, have been uploaded to that page by date. So I did hear from community members, and I thank you for your input and your insight. And that came from the community, and I appreciate the support. And you see the superintendent reports there for our community engagement. Switching gears, I'd like to go ahead and congratulate and thank our schools for donating 100 toys for the purpose of providing gifts to foster students and students in need through the Fostering Unity Group. That event was held on Saturday, December 10th. Thank you to all who contributed. And like Emily mentioned, ASMO Winter Concert was a huge success, standing room only. Having attended the standing room only concerts, congratulations are in order for our students, our staff, our parents, and of course, our long-standing support of a huge community supporter and partner in educating our students in the field of the arts, ASMO. Thank you for bringing the community together. A wonderful time was had by all. And then I believe we have a video, so please enjoy a short video snippet of Mrs. Woolman's second grade class singing Celebrate. 72 new cases of COVID since our last report, and 58 cases in the past 2 weeks. In our school community alone, 17 positive cases have been reported since November 10th, and exposure notifications have been sent out for those exposures from our district nurse, Ms. Carrie Wright. Thank you, Ms. Carrie Wright, for all that you do. We also sent out a holiday wellness letter to remind parents to test their students prior to returning to school, especially if they have any types of symptoms. Home test kits are available at each and every school site, and that's been an ongoing protocol. And also at your local pharmacies using your Medi-Cal, Medicare card, or check with your insurance plan for up to 8 free at-home tests a month.
Of seats starting at the end with Tim, and then Tom, Lester, Ken, and myself. So we will start down at the end. So board comments, Tim.
Thank you. First off, I want to congratulate Ms. Texoni on your election as president. The homework will be coming shortly. And as well as Ken. Ken knows it, so I don't have to worry about him. And then board clerk, you'll have an important role to play where you take signatures, and Ms. McCauley would be able to take care of that for you. Just make sure that check goes a long way, right? So I want to welcome our new board members and the returning board members. I'm glad that we have a full house, 5 on the seat. Welcome aboard. So I attended the ribbon cutting for Project Lead the Way at Vasquez, and it was exciting to see for finally that, like many of our schools that we have around us, that we have engineering and robotics. And we went into Mr. Salcedo's engineering class, and as you saw the pictures, they had a couple of robotics that they had made from scratch materials, put it together, cables, tracks, the whole bit, control mechanisms. And my first question is when we have in the first battle, do we just push the desks aside and we'll put them on the floor and start inviting schools in and do a thing like we see on TV? And so I think that's exceptional. The other part is medical and the biomedical sciences. We went over there to the science offices, Mr. Tabbitt, and I can't pronounce her name. Somebody help me. Shadi, I'll just say Shadi. That, you know, they have their sciences there, and that's another expansion where I thought it was really clever is that our catering department had food, and right next to it was a heart. And then you went down here, and then there was another piece, and so let's talk about that while we have this little snack. So it was really good. The kids were doing great. They were explaining what they had, how they had dissected these animal parts, and that's something that's hands-on that we need, that our science department's expanding on. So I was really excited about that. So that's really great. Then staying still at the high school was our winter sports athletes. Emily pointed out that our girls and boys soccer, both teams are undefeated, And as I was coming to the meeting today, I went by the lights, and I think they were playing Palmdale Aerospace tonight. Palmdale Academy. And we were down 1, and right when I was there, they scored, so they tied the game, and then I checked with Coach Sparks and said tonight, so they scored. So now they're 7-0-1, number 1 in the Heritage League. So Coach Pete and the boys are doing great. Coach Terry and the girls are doing great. It's kind of cold. I saw a couple of parents sitting with their cars facing because it's kind of chilly, but for athletics, Vasquez is really excelling and bringing it back from COVID or recovering, and that's a draw for us to have people come out and watch these young men, and particularly now with all the playoffs in Qatar, where they're doing all these soccer, and I've been to soccer, and I'm getting up at 6 o'clock in the morning to watch the U.S. play Saturday morning last week. Unfortunately, they didn't win. But the other one that's exciting is the boys basketball and the girls basketball. We've struggled with girls basketball. We haven't.
And I'll say this is probably the last time I'm going to talk about myself while I sit up here. So just real quickly, my wife and I moved into Acton about 15 years ago. We brought our son and our daughter here when my daughter was actually born here, Glendale, but here. We came here for the community, and we've been involved. I've been involved with the town council for about 8 years now. My wife's been involved with the schools from the Meadowlark, having a golden apple, to PTSO president now. So the reason we're here is because of community, and I'm very happy to be here, and I think there's a lot of work to be done. I want to say that governance is messy, and maybe tonight was a little bit of an example of how that works. We don't necessarily work together, we don't think together, but when it comes down to it, we are a governing board, and we operate by consensus or motion or voting. We're not individuals. So it is my hope and my goals that we operate as an effective governing board, that we operate as administrators effectively with our administrative staff, with our superintendent, and that things can go very smoothly. I want to thank the previous board members, Kelly Jensen and Chad Wadsworth. Things may not have always gone the way they expected, but they did put in a lot of effort. I think that's very important. And obviously for those up here as well that are still here. So one of my focuses, I believe, for what I want to see happen is I want to see our core of this district strengthened. I know we do advertising, I know we bring people in, we have great signature programs. Sometimes I think when I say, signature programs are great, but we need to concentrate on the basics. I get misinterpreted as thinking that I don't think these signature programs are important. They're very important, and I attended the Makerspace opening, and it's fantastic. So when we have these programs, we need to really support this with good English departments, good math departments, good science departments, a full staff of teachers at all the sites. We need to make sure that when we bring people into this district, or we bring community members that may have gone to homeschooling, or may go to Hart, or may go somewhere else, and we say, come back, take a look at us, we have these great programs, we also want them to feel that we have a great core. And I think that's where a lot of work needs to be done. And that's kind of it. I want to thank Ms. Mananian for being brave enough to come up here. The student perspective is very important, and I just want to remind you that you are a board member, and you can do just about anything you want except for voting. So if you have something to say and you want to be part of the conversation, I encourage that. As for community involvement, we're responsible to this community, and this school is what ties this community together, this district, not this school, but this district. Because without a strong school district, new people don't come in, people don't stay. We want to be more than a retirement community, or more than a bedroom community, or more than a community where people buy houses to grow pies. And the way we do this is we strengthen our schools district. And we get faith for people to come here by offering the things they want. So I'm going to recommend at the end of the meeting here, when we talk about agenda items, that we look at workshops for the community. I realize that it's going to take time. You just can't open up a workshop and all of a sudden everybody's going to come. We got to work at the community involvement, starting small and working up to gain interest. And I want to make sure that people know that if you're a community member and you have something to say, we want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. And that's very important because we really need the community to be involved in this district. If you look at California Distinguished Schools, which we have, how did that happen? That's from community help. That's not because of grades. That's not because of things that happen there. It's because of the community involvement, the people that come to that school and help to get that designation. So I want to just encourage that fact that we are a community, and let's just make this school district as strong as we can. And that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Lester?
Hi, my name is Lester Mascon. Excited to be here as a new board member and hoping I can provide value. I think I have some areas of focus that I'll work on. A lot of it revolves around business processes, just good business process, something I'm very comfortable in and something we're also looking to apply myself to as well. I've been a community member since 2016 and I have 2 kids in the district. One of them attends I Leave, the other one attends Vasquez. My youngest son will be attending High Desert next year. I'm excited to be here. Thanks for the warm welcome.
Thank you, Ken.
I'd like to welcome our new board members. I'm glad we could greet them with a long closed session meeting, and apologies for the public out here waiting for us, but we get our business done. I'd like to report out that I attended the Aadusd Meeting, which is Los Angeles County. Presentations were incredible. I was there on Tuesday night, and my week's been crowded, but there were so many people there, I thought the fire marshal was going to come in and shut it down. There were people dancing in the hallways and all over, and it was really put together well. And I had a visit this morning from somebody at work who knows I sit on the school board and was asking me questions. What do you do when somebody or interest group hijacks a holiday presentation and starts sending out some kind of message? And I won't get into all that, but I thought, I don't see that kind of stuff here. It's about the kids singing and everybody having a good time and understanding the staff is doing all this stuff way after hours and everything. And it made me very proud of the community I live in. What else do I have here? Staff, I want you to take the time here. I think you got almost 3 weeks. Take a break, wind down a little bit. Know you did a great job. I have watched in my time on the school board, especially the last 2 years, going back a year and a half, it seemed like staff was having to deal with something new every week. You can do this, you have to be on the computer here, and it was very, very dynamic, and I still wonder if people have ever gotten back to the point where they touch kids in the classroom and reach the individual that they want to reach. I hope we haven't lost that. But the teachers are the ones that have control of what's going on in the classroom. So if we have success here, it's because of them. I want to talk a little bit about this. I think I got the first copy of this. When we talk about budget, I'm going to dive deep into charters. You're still going to have Ken. The closer I get here, the rowdiness is supposed to be down there, and the controversy gets introduced down there. But I'm hoping somebody takes my place. Anyway, I want to talk about this, and I'm going to touch on this in very serious ways during the interim budget thing. But somebody had a party for the SPED kids, And one of the things you'll hear me asking about in the warrant register, if you pay close attention, I start calling out expenses. And some things are very expensive, and if you drop the ball there, you become very, very expensive. And there was a party, and everybody got together. It wasn't a school party, but it was school staff at a party. And some of the people who need help the most in this community were invited to the party. And if you know special education at all, you know that a lot of it starts out with kids that need speech, language support, physical therapy, AP, anything that helps children have better access to education. But the older the kids get, and the more they spend time in the SPED room, and they're not mainstream because it's just not in their capability, the more life becomes bleak unless you have the community support. And if you went to this party, if you didn't, Tracy told you what it's all about. Here, get this. I can have Tammy sign it for you. Thank you, Tracy. But if you went into that party, what you saw was the kids doing life skills, that they're making things, they're decorating things, they're constructing things, they're doing what they need to do to be independent. And that's the focus. So when I hear that we have a program at the high school now where, face it, the kids that are in the special day class in high school, it's a life skills program. So we finally brought a life skills program here where the focus is not, you know, just babysit people, it's giving them life skills. So this article talks a lot and indirectly about what the school staff is doing to change the model for the most vulnerable people that gives them some kind of dignity in their adulthood. So thank you, everybody. I mean, Miss T, you know what I'm talking about. Thank you. This one's going to be rough. Please hold the people at Aadusd Meeting in your mind, the staff, the families, the teachers. They've had something happen over this very, very sad, and that's all I'm going to say. But if you know anybody from over there, they're part of our community. Reach out and make sure everybody's okay, and make sure you do anything you can. Brianna?
Thank you, Ken. First, I want to start by welcoming Tom Costin and Lester Mascon. I appreciate your willingness to step up. We all know this is a volunteer position, and sometimes it doesn't feel like volunteer. But I hope that you remember, and everybody remembers, that you are volunteers in our community as elected officials. So thank you very much for coming forward and stepping up. Tim, I want to thank you for your year as president. Thank you for guiding and leading our board, and I know that I have big shoes to fill. So I've already messed up a few times tonight, and I will try to fix that. So thank you very much for your service to our board. And I want to thank Ken for your guidance in this process. So thank you very much, and thank you for stepping up to be the vice president. I feel like I'm going to be leaning on you a little bit, especially in the first couple meetings. So thank you very much for your guidance and how all of this works. Years ago, when I was a teenager, my mom used to sit in Yolanda's seat, so I would come to school board meetings and watch and just support my mom, sitting up there taking the minutes for the board. And it was not run like this. It was more free. I really appreciate this structure, and I know that that's something that you built and brought to us, Ken, so thank you for that. I appreciate the structure and the way that we keep our meetings going. I was able to attend the annual education conference in the beginning of, okay, so we will go ahead and vote on item 11 B, the minutes to the regular board meeting on November 10th, 2022. Can I get a motion?
Excuse me, Madam President, so the only thing on the consent agenda is going to be item C? I mean B, like in law? Everything else is pulled?
Correct. We're just going to vote on item 11B by itself for the consent agenda, and then we will move down C, D, E, F, and G have all been pulled, so we will discuss those one at a time.
Tim Jorgensen, yes on the consent.
Tom Costin abstaining.
So this is
Voting in the minutes.
This is for the minutes of the regular board meeting for November 10th, 2022. Did we get a motion for just the minutes?
I'll make the motion for just the minutes.
Second.
Okay.
Tim Jorgensen, yes.
Abstain.
Lester Mascon, aye.
Ken Falls, aye.
Brianna Taxoni, aye. It's recommended that the board approve the minutes for the regular meeting on November 10th. And if they are approved with a vote of 4 yes, 0 no, 1 abstain. Moving on to 11C, warrant register. It's recommended that the Board of Trustees approve the warrant register from November 2nd, 2022 to December 6th, 2022. Discussion?
We'll do a
We'll have
motion.
to move them in one at a time
Oh,
now.
sorry, can I get a motion?
I'll move.
I'll second.
So Tim and Ken. And now discussion?
I have none.
You guys good? You ready? Let's go to page 1. Academy for the Advancement of Children with Autism. Is that a monthly or an annual?
It's monthly.
Does that benefit children in the district?
Lester Mascon, abstaining.
Falls, aye.
It's recommended that the Board of Trustees, Brianna Taxoni, aye, approve the warrant register for November 2nd to 12/6. The warrant register is approved by a vote of 3 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain. Item 11D. AALRR agreement for special services. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
And discussion?
No.
No.
My comment on these was, I just wanted to make sure that we, or understand if we have a contract review process that we feed all of our different contracts to, that we look for indemnification language, evergreen clauses, insurance requirements, things like that. So every contract that comes in front of us has gone through some sort of a check on standards, what we expect as a district. Is that accurate?
That's correct. There's a vetting process, and we make sure that that's a staple on all of the contract reviews.
Okay.
And the ones included here, D, E, F, and G.
My comment on this is that we had an agendized review of this. It strikes me to be a year ago, June or something. I asked for kind of the same thing. I think sometimes the problem is that when we're doing work with vendors, I think at some point, I'm not going to take the wind out of somebody's sail here, but at some point, I think we need to do some education on the board on the different elements of the district, the different departments, who does what, the depths of your staff, because to Mr. Lester Mascon's point, sometimes these contracts look like they're written by the vendor, and we're kind of telling them, hey, you tell us what you're going to do and give us a scope of services. And some of us that are used to a very formalized 1, 2, 3, 4 checklist thing, that may strike us as odd when we see all this variance between different contracts. So that's my comment. Thank you.
Thank you. I have no comment. Call for question?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tom Costa abstain.
Lester Mastown, abstain.
Falls Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. The agreement with AALRR for special services is approved with a vote of 3 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain. 11E, master contract for parallel learning. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
Discussion?
Was the intent that it was?
Yeah, it was for all of them together.
So collectively, okay, same comment as
Same comment for
before.
all of them.
Call for questions?
Tim Jorgensen, aye.
Tom Costa abstain.
Lester Mastown, abstain.
Falls Graf, aye.
Brianna Texoni, aye. The master contract for parallel learning is approved with a vote of 3 yes, 0 no, 2 abstain. Consent agenda 11F, Maxim Healthcare Staffing Services Agreement. Can I get a motion?
I'll move.
Tim Jorgensen, second.
Discussion?
None.
Call for question? Ken?
I'll second.
Was that Tom?
Yes.
Discussion?
None.
Yeah,
Hearing- oh,
I have a little bit. I look at these reports and we know we have staffing issues. And what I would like to see is, maybe from the superintendent, and how we do this, I'm not exactly sure, so I'll bite my head off, but I would like to see some kind of report on what we're doing and where we're looking for these people and what kind of bites we're getting, what kind of, just so we have an idea. I mean, I hear a lot, it's tough out there, it's just we're everywhere. But we need to do better. We can't have 3 missing teachers on a campus. So I would like somehow for this report for us to kind of understand what action is happening to fill these positions and what's working and what's not. Some kind of review process, because it's been a long time with a lot of openings, and it's, like Ms. Emily said, it's hurting us, so.
I will say to the new board members, there is, on your Friday letter, there's usually an update that kind of tells you in detail about some of the stuff that comes. So once you see that, there are always people, I don't even like to see this come up on the screen at all, because there are people that are competing for jobs or have to be approved, so that's kind of low key. You've probably heard me ask 100 times, and I'll explain why. You'll hear me say, has there been any aging on positions? In other words, drag your feet, don't hire somebody in the interest of not filling a position for financial reasons. That's why I asked that question exactly. That's kind of where our purview starts and finishes, outside of the superintendent telling us what's going on Friday. But I'll ask that now. Has there been any purposeful aging? Are each and every position on the list is vacant being actively recruited for right now? So I could publicly humiliate you and say, so tell me about this position, is it on whatever, blah, 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 how many bites have you had, all of that. And the answer would be you are actively recruiting and none of these positions are frozen or we're dragging our feet to save money. Is that accurate?
Yes.
That's why I asked that question. Okay, I'm done.
I will say that I do see on the employees that we are looking to hire, I do see a couple of movement, so congratulations to those employees that have moved on to a job that they can fulfill and be amazing at. I also see a past student on here with a very reputable last name, so congratulations, Miss Trussell. And that was Miss Trussell, not Mrs. So Miss Tommy, congratulations. And then also on here, we have the building and construction CTE teacher still on here. At the annual education conference, I went to their booth I went and visited quite a few career technical booths, and one of them was the construction, I'm drawing a blank. The person that presented to us this whole construction avenue that we're going, and we had talked about being able to hire teachers, and he did say that he's looking for teachers for us as well. He said he has quite a few prospects of people that are retiring, and he's working with them for them to get their teaching credential in a hurry, so that those people that were out there in that construction field that are freshly retired can now come in and start a new career helping teach. So he said there was 4 that he was actively recruiting, and he said that he would reach out to you. So I love that we also have people out and about recruiting for us. He knows that this is important. Yes. He knows this is important for us, and for him to say, oh, you're from Acton, oh, well, you know, and be able to recognize who I was and let me know that he's helping or he's trying.